Good evening and welcome to the Icutv main news bulletin. Now, let's take a look at the stories making headlines. President Hichilema urges African action on children's mental health. Government refutes claims on Oydc prayer gathering. ECZ registers over 259,000 new voters. And in international news, Cameroon's 92-year-old president wins controversial 8th term. And on the sports front, Zambia wins 3 medals at Africa's Strongest Man contest in South Africa. And now with the news in detail, my name is Maluba Eric J. Wanamujende. President Hakainde Hichilema has called on African leaders to place greater emphasis on children's mental health, warning that many young people across the continent face severe emotional and psychological challenges. Well, the president said more than 990 million African children, live with mental health burdens that often go unnoticed by parents, teachers, and communities, pointing to issues such as teenage pregnancy, economic pressure, sexual violence, and drug abuse as major contributing factors. In remarks delivered on his behalf by Health Minister Elijah Muchima at the 8th Mental Health and Psychosocial Support Forum in Lusaka, President Hichilema urged governments to create adolescent-friendly health services that relieve pressure on schools and support both teachers and students. He reaffirms that the Zambian government is investing in citizens' well-being through stronger primary healthcare systems that incorporate sexual and reproductive health rights. And Regional Psychosocial Support Initiative Board Chairperson Gigi Gosnell encouraged participants to turn discussions into action, stressing that mental health must be integrated into education systems across Africa. Well, the government has expressed concern over false reports circulating on social media, alleging that Zambia police stormed a prayer meeting at the Olympic Youth Development Center, Oydc, on the night of 23rd October 2025. Well, Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Thabo Kawana clarified that there was no police presence at the event and that worshippers were dispersed by the organizers themselves. He explains that police had earlier advised the Standing in the Gap team to reschedule their gathering due to security limitations arising from other national events. Well, Mr. Kawana says the police were engaged in 2 major security operations that same night, including the state banquet and the midnight flag hoisting ceremony. Well, he stresses that claims of police interference were baseless and aimed at misleading the public. The Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has extended the accreditation deadline for political parties to 31st October 2025, enabling the observers to participate in the ongoing voter registration exercise. ECZ chairperson Mwangala Zulumis stated that the decision was made following requests from political parties seeking additional time to complete accreditation. Speaking at a press briefing in Lusaka, Mrs. Zulumis explained that stakeholders must apply through the respective district registration officers and nominate up to 3 observers per constituency. She adds that it is premature to call for an extension of the registration exercise, emphasizing that any future decision will be guided by data and operational considerations.
Some of which will be addressed during this press brief. Let me now address the stakeholders' concerns that we've taken note of. And we are still taking note of any stakeholder concerns that are raised. The first one is inadequate sensitization on the deployment plan. The Commission has taken note of concerns regarding which centers are open on any given day and when the officers are transitioning from one phase to another. The stakeholders believe that there's not enough information to inform the public which center is open and when they're transitioning from one place to another. Despite the fact that there are signs, the signage is there at all these centers. However, the concerns were raised and we've taken note of that. To this effect, the Commission has since enhanced its efforts to inform the public on centers that are open on any given day.
And now, meanwhile, Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ Chief Electoral Officer Brown Kasaro has announced that the Commission has so far captured over 259,000 new voters and processed 284,000 updates and transfers since the start of the registration exercise. Mr. Kasaro states that the figures represent the outcome of phases 1 and 2 of the ongoing exercise. He further discloses that phase 4 of the registration process, is expected to begin on Tuesday, 28th October 2025, following the conclusion of phase 3.
More females than males registering as voters. Having provided an overview of phase 2, it is important to highlight the consolidated progress made so far from phases 1 and 2 of the voter registration exercise. Cumulatively, the Commission has recorded a total of 259,488 new registrations. I'll repeat that. Cumulatively, that is for both phases 1 and 2, the Commission has recorded a total of 259,488 new registrations across the country, comprising 141,825 females and 117,663 males. Allow me now to turn to the provincial performance, which illustrates how each province has contributed to the overall progress recorded thus far in terms of new registrations. So new registrations, that is totals for both phase 1 and 2 across the provinces, are as follows. Central Province, the total stands now at 20,700.
Right. Well, we're going to shut break. We'll be right back with the details in more of our local stories.
Bami wamwene kukupa basofu ate gift ya wedding wewe
kabampo kai honto kweswako
wei
sebo bujiti bajita kuti humbwe wa arwa kumumpa muzo
ale
they give one zo
basa sunu tusegelela akupobola nguzu ya mwana Yesu musanko yulage mwana mujende
tamdori ndira
honeymoon yansa yebo tuni kurya honeymoon ndete kuya kusaka ka kupange maloko mbo tuni kukhala amije kuno mudaro lo bagamba kuti utaka kuti nantaka mihi mu lusaka ishi ndi mubwa kitabaga ndi gite claustration bagandi sibe buya baga kuhema jana
iwe amanyiri munganda mwana unkira mafia ng'ombe papeni na dabombe muno
Lucky you know me? Do you know my wife? Have you seen my wife?
Chirikwi. Urefu atoka ni mochari mpiai.
Maybe I should go to doctors.
Bambira ma doctor ati wabora hipondo tu.
Ah.
Chikaringa byani bantu nawe chakaringa byani ko. Oh.
Chachiringo kumichiringanya pa mulesu wa mafuta.
Wow. I'm so impressed mura. Pesi ndali kwamba pakuti aya mahuta anonkera musimba imwe mwakasuba.
Well, thank you for still staying tuned. And now in our local stories, Smart Zambia, in partnership with the World Bank, is poised to implement digital public infrastructure, DPI, aimed at promoting digital transformation, improving service delivery, and boosting economic development. Well, Smart Zambia Government Chief Technical Officer Kasali Msenge stressed the importance of building a secure and efficient digital system that facilitates reliable payments, data sharing, and access to government services. Speaking during the opening of the Digital Public Infrastructure and Integrated Service Delivery Design Lab workshop in Livingston, Ms. Musenge said that the initiative forms part of the Digital Zambia Acceleration Project, which supports the government's goal of using technology to improve public service delivery. World Bank Practice Manager for Digital Government, Stella Mokan, called for increased investment in digital platforms, while World Bank Senior Digital Specialist Paul Ndungutse disclosed that the bank has invested $100 million in the project. Lusaka Mayor Chilando Chitangala has called on the public to openly discuss mental health issues to ensure affected individuals receive the help they need. Ms. Chitangala says cases of mental health challenges continue to rise in both Lusaka and across the country, stressing the need for communities to encourage people to seek professional support. Well, speaking when the Healing Apostolate, run by the Franciscan Missionary Sisters of Assisi, paid a courtesy call on her office, the mayor urged leaders and community members to prioritize the well-being of women and children, who are often the most affected. She commends the apostolate for creating safe spaces for mental health patients, survivors of abuse, and other vulnerable groups, adding that her office remains committed to partnering with organizations promoting mental wellness. Well, Ms. Chitangala discloses that Lusaka City Council is working with Bloomberg Philanthropies to strengthen early childhood development centers, ECDCS, commonly known as Olofare, which aim to address mental health and gender-based violence through early education. Well, meanwhile, Health Apostolate Coordinator Sister Bope Chileshe said the organization is looking to collaborate closely with the Mayor's office to develop effective responses to the growing mental health crisis, particularly among young people. Now we go on another break. We'll be right back with international and sports news.
The Information and Communications University is driving the thrill for the nation in research and development. Enroll now for full-time and distance programs in the School of Engineering, Humanities, Business and Education. To apply, visit our website at www.icuzambia.net or call us on +260 211 221 662 or 0966 342 359. Sponsorship is available. Enroll now.
And now in international news, well, President Paul Biya has been declared winner of Cameroon's heavily disputed presidential election. Well, Biya, who at 92 is the world's oldest head of state, will now serve an 8th consecutive term in office, having first assumed power in 1982. Well, opposition leader Issa Chiroma Bakari had earlier claimed victory, alleging that the Constitutional Council would announce a flawed result. Well, streets in Bamenda, in the English-speaking region, remain deserted amid fears of unrest, with at least 4 people reportedly killed in clashes with security forces in Douala. Well, opposition supporters have defied a ban on protests, accusing the ruling party for trying to steal victory from them. And still in international news, well, hundreds of thousands of people have been forced to flee their homes because of the conflict in Sudan. The United Nations has called for safe passage for trapped civilians out of the Sudanese city of El Fasher after paramilitary fighters announced they had seized control of the army's main base there. Well, Sudan's military has not acknowledged the loss of the site, which would mark a significant victory for the Rapid Support Forces (RSF) in the ongoing civil war. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres described the latest fighting as a terrible escalation in the conflict, saying that the suffering of civilians was unbearable, according to AFP News Agency reports. El Fasher remains the last army foothold in the vast western region of Darfur and has been under siege by the RSF and its allies for 18 months. But we now take a final break. We'll be right back with sports news.
Welcome to the Zambia Research and Development Center, an institution dedicated to national development through capacity building and community development. Established in 2007 by a group of professionals and lecturers, ZRDC has since become a hub of research and innovation in the country. Registered with the Ministry of Home Affairs under the Registrar of Societies, ZRDC pursues cutting-edge research to address pressing social and economic challenges. Get involved. ZRDC engages in activities that stimulate international collaboration, promote knowledge sharing, and make research expertise available to decision makers. Our mission at ZRDC is to foster innovation and capacity building for national development. We believe in addressing poverty and underdevelopment through institutional and capacity building, human empowerment, and gender participation. In our quest to foster innovation and capacity building for national development, ZRDC launched the ZRDC University Sponsorship for Capacity Building and Development Program to facilitate knowledge advancement among ZRDC researchers and those intending to join the research community. Qualified Zambian citizens can pursue education at credible universities in Zambia with guaranteed prospects of joining the ZRDC research community. ZRDC engages in industrial and technological research, covering research development and innovative investigations to drive dynamic industrial development at national and regional levels. Join us at the Zambia Research and Development Center as we continue to innovate, empower, and shape a brighter future for Zambia. ZRDC, fostering innovation and capacity building for national development.
Welcome back. And now on the sports front, Team Zambia has claimed 3 medals at the Africa's Strongest Man Championship, which took place in Rustenburg, South Africa. Bolgift Habenzu and Sam Momba dominated their respective categories, securing gold in the men's under 105 kgs and men's under 90 kgs divisions. Dixon Sompola also made the podium after winning bronze in the men's under 80 kgs category. Well, the two-day competition, held from October 25th to 26th, 2025, attracted top strength athletes from across the African continent. Well, that sports item brings us to the end of the Icutv main news. Now let's take a look at the stories that made headlines. President Hichilema urges African action on children's mental health. Well, government refutes claims on Oydc prayer gathering. ECZ registers over 259,000 new voters. In international news, Cameroon's 92-year-old president wins controversial 8th term. And on the sports front, Zambia wins 3 medals at Africa's Strongest Man contest in South Africa. Well, thank you for staying with us on the Icutv main news bulletin. I've been your anchor this evening, Maluwa Eric J. Please do make sure to catch us live for more updates on Icutv, that is on Facebook, and ICUTVZM.com, that is on our website. Good evening.